Good morning, YouTube. Paul coming back at you with another skiff building video today. It's nice and cool out here. The weather is perfect for some more boat building, which I've mentioned before. I've got a few things going on here, and yesterday I lost a half a day of footage. I don't know what happened to the GoPro. I don't know. It might have got too hot, but the files said they were corrupted, and I lost all the content that I had on the GoPro, which sucks because I was getting into some pretty tedious stuff. So for the first few minutes of the video, I'm going to have to recap what I did yesterday. But here we go, guys. We're getting into the last bit of it, and I told you I was going to keep making videos to the end. Even if they're not doing good, they're not doing a lot of progress, they're not getting a lot of views. Boat building is a kind of a niche type thing. They don't always get a lot of views, but hey, I told you I was gonna keep doing it, and I'm gonna finish it. So I'm gonna keep recording and doing progress on it until it's done, and take you guys along the way. Let's get into some boat building. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of recap what I done yesterday, and it doesn't seem like much, but it takes you a few minutes, an hour or so to get measurements done. Lines laid out for your screws on your joists, and glue it down. This is the front deck, and this is kind of what I worked on the whole half the morning yesterday. But got one coat of epoxy up here on top. I had to draw my lines out where the joists were right here and make my screw holes. I had to pre-drill. Always pre-drill your cypress. Those joists under here are made out of cypress, and if you try to screw into them without pre-drilling the hole, you'll crack them. They're just, I don't know why, they're not, like, they will literally just bust if you start drilling holes in them. Excuse me, putting screws in them without drilling holes. So all right, so made my line here, pre-drilled my holes here on this joist, and this joist, I've got a joist running along here and a joist running along here. Got a joist running along here and a joist running along here underneath the deck. Now, the deck as of now is glued down to the joists, and these screws are gonna have to come out. And yesterday I put a bead of thickened epoxy with microfibers across here, so we can actually glue it to the side of the hull, and it's feeling pretty strong this morning. I'm gonna get up here and walk on it and just kind of see where I did actually walked on it without gluing it, and it was already sturdy, but you know what, we're gonna do it anyway. All right, so let's walk up here and see what we're working with here. I don't know if you guys can see or pick it up on camera, but that bead is actually kind of sitting down in there. The bead is actually going to be so thick that I couldn't pull a fillet across it. So today I'm going to level it off more, put some more microfibers, level it off, and actually put a fillet around, which is just like a silicone joint, except you're using thickened epoxy. So let's go ahead and walk on it here, test it out. The nose up here, see, I was kind of worried about this because there was a little flex in it before I put the glue around it, and now it is not moving anywhere. It is sturdy. I weigh 195, 197, depends on what time of day, but yeah, everything's feeling safe and secure here. I feel absolutely confident with it. This is going to work out nice. So glad to get this done. The hatch is not drilled down yet. The box inside has been painted. What else? Yeah, that's it. Those screws have to come out because I put a thickened epoxy joint on each joist. That's the bulkhead. Oh, this is the bulkhead here, and then there's another little piece that goes up front there, a little floor joist. But I'm gonna take these screws out, and I'm gonna go back and fill in the holes with thickened epoxy. Now this is another controversial issue. People are saying, why not just leave the screws in there, either glass over or put thickened epoxy over the heads of them? And you absolutely could. There's nothing wrong with that. However, I'm going to take my screws out. I've glued them to the joists. I've got I'm thickened epoxy on the edges here, and when I take them screws out, it's not going to make a difference at all. So I'm going to take those screws out. So, like I said, this has been epoxy down. And thickened epoxy, man, it is unreal how strong that stuff is, man. Like, it'll blow your mind. It blew my mind how strong that stuff was. But yeah, you get you a good thick thickened epoxy bead going across those joists and lay your deck on it, it ain't going nowhere. You will not be able to move that deck. Even if you tried to pull that board up, what it'll actually do, it'll rip the plies off the board before you actually bust that epoxy bead. Check the deck here. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to do a little sanding there, but not much. All that's gonna have to get some resin, epoxy resin applied here like we did up here. See, this hasn't been done and the sides haven't been done yet, but yeah. Going to the back. All right, so I finished up my transom piece here. I got it kind of grinded and sanded down here nice and smooth. It's ready for glass. What I'm gonna do right now is put the back deck on, try to pre-drill me some holes for it, and then I'm gonna have to glue it down and then screw it down. And while it's drying, I'm gonna make measurements for a box, one box on each side. I got 2 hatches in, and I wanna try to build up some type of little box here. They won't be really tall. I think I have like maybe 6 inches of height on the edges here, but some storage is better than no storage. And the actual inside of the boxes will act as a gusset for the transom. This is going to be my own design. This was not in the plans. As a matter of fact, a lot of this boat, the changes I've done is not in the plans. So, yeah, I changed it up quite a bit. I didn't like how things were. I didn't like the 1/4-inch plywood. It probably will be a little bit heavier. I might need a little more horsepower to push it. I don't know yet. We'll see. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there recording. I'm gonna go grab the piece of plywood I've cut out and put thickened epoxy on, put resin on. The bottom side of this thing has been resined. The corners have been resined. You know, this is some thick stuff. It's like that epoxy that you see people pouring onto those tabletops and stuff, making those deep shine in those tables. But thickened epoxy is some amazing stuff, really and truly. It really is. It's amazing how strong it is and how it waterproofs and everything else. But yeah, this is the back piece that I have here. The bottom's, like I said, been resined already, and I have 2 hatches here. So it's gonna go here like this, kinda. And the other side, do the same thing. We just need to get us 2 boxes framed up, and get us some plywood cut out to fit the frames. Alright, so these 2 rear boxes, they'll be sitting up here kind of flush with the top here, and that will give us about 6 inches of box deep. Like I said, it ain't much, but it's a skiff, and there ain't really a lot of places to store things on it. So that's what I'm going for. Got my lines already made for my screws to pre-drill, put my screws down, so I'm gonna get into that. All right, got my holes pre-drilled along the stringers here. Just gonna dry fit, kind of screw this thing down in place and make sure I'm hitting the joists and not missing them, going into straight foam. Which is why I made my lines, because you would not be able to see above the deck. So everything's looking pretty good so far. Now we just gotta kind of get this thing down. After I get these screws pre-fitted, we're gonna take the screws out, put some glue down on the joists, glue this baby down, and then put the screws back in it. And then when it dries, we can take the screws out. It's kind of noisy out here today. Got chickens in the background, dogs barking. I got a guy pile driving some posts back there so he can put solar panels on this pasture behind me. A lot of noise out here this morning. If you can see the joists there, they kind of got a little foam buildup. I'm going to take my grinder and just kind of rough these up a little bit here. And it's just got like a dusty, foamy texture. I'm going to go ahead and take my grinder and clean that off. That way that thickened epoxy will bite down really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, let's rough the surface up a little bit, shall we? What I'm gonna do now is take some mineral spirits, or some, if you have acetone, just something you can kind of wipe the area down. That way that thickened epoxy will stick really good, just like anything else before you glue or sand and paint. And take something and clean the surface nice and slick. That way there won't be any debris, and I'm constantly running into this little crumbly foam here. But go around the joists there where the contact's gonna be. So the joists, of course, is where we're gonna glue down, and then the edges here is where the thickened epoxy bead's gonna go, just like up front. Our little deck above the storage box. Don't touch the foam, Paul. All right. Looks pretty good. We should be good to go. Gonna step over here and mix some thickened epoxy. And I'm gonna be using the 403 microfiber adhesive filler to glue the deck down and put the fillets around the edges. All right, got us some microfibers with some resin, some thickened epoxy going here. And it's pretty thick, about like some peanut butter. I'm just gonna take it and lay it across my joists here. Just kind of pat it into a bead, I guess. We'll make sure it's thick enough to where it can squish out to the edges. And when you put that deck down on it, I mean, there is no picking it back up once it dries. You better make sure everything's the way you want it, because once you put this stuff on, that's it. There ain't no redos. You try to redo something after you put this on, you're gonna be cutting it out, because it is crazy strong. I had my crappy microphone before and you couldn't hear what I'm saying, and now I got one you can hear me breathing over here. So if you hear me huffing and puffing and breathing in the video, I apologize. I'm not a audio expert with the Rode wireless microphone system yet. So if you can't hear me or over the breathing, or I apologize. But it's better than not having any audio, or audio just going to crap on you. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and put this stuff down and make sure we have us a nice bead. I don't really want to hit that second joist in front of it yet, because that's where the other deck is going to go. If you do that, you'll have to grind it back off so the deck will sit flush. I went through about 3-gallon jugs of that West Systems resin. And I tell you, it's not cool buying that stuff because it is quite expensive. So I remember when I started this build and was looking at the diagram and the cost expectations, the cost that they figured for must have been before COVID, because all your products have went up so high. Like I think I've went like $600 or $700 over the budget that they had on the original drawing there that I purchased off the Salt Boat Works website. Those edges by the boat, if you don't get a good glue pad down on it, because the gunnel's actually in the way, kind of blocking you from putting your stick down. Just do the best you can, because you're going to end up putting a bead in there anyway. The main thing here is just getting a thick spot on your joists here for the deck to lay on and squish that glue out of. Should look something like this. Turn you guys around so you can see. This is what I'm talking about against the wall here. Kind of hard to get to. I mixed just enough to finish that little bit right there. I don't even have enough to fill it in around the edges, but it's all right. We'll have to drop in and make us a nice fillet around the edge. The little Salt Boat Works, there's actually a couple of little YouTube videos that the guy, he does some pretty good little fillets. He shows you how to make some nice fillets on these decks. So you guys can watch that, and that's really, I mean, there's a bunch of videos on how to fillet, but this particular build here, he kind of goes through all the steps for you and shows you. But that looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna drop my deck down on that and screw it down. And this is what we're looking like from the above view here. So I went ahead and foamed this in. See, I made a change here with the transom and put a thicker piece here, and I covered up a board here. I actually added boards here, but I covered my board up and foamed it in, so I couldn't even screw anything to this little section, but it's okay. We can put a fillet right here and it'll grab just fine. But yeah, so if you want to make a change, you have to be prepared to make all kind of other changes. I tell you, man, it's a lot of work. But let's drop the deck on here and go for it. Let's just do it. Let's drop it down and screw it down and start framing up a box. You really don't get a lot of chances to drop this thing down, because you don't want to spread it around too much. You just want it to fall on, kind of like that, and then find your screw holes. See if I can find our screw holes. Once you get one or two in there, the rest should kind of fall in place. There's a... I saw it move it over. Hopefully it found it. Get on this edge over here, see if we can find something here. Seemed to be going down pretty good without hitting anything else. I think it landed in the hole. Oh yeah. We cooking now, folks. We are cooking. You see that glue press out of that hole? That's good. That lets you know that that bead is nice and full. That you got a nice little glue joint there. Some nice squish coming out of there. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. See it squish out? That's perfect. That one didn't have as much, but it don't take much, I tell you. Little glue goes a long way with that epoxy. Definitely ain't going nowhere, that's for sure. A few more screws and we can start framing. Yeah, I apologize for the breathing. So I got my mouth like, the way I got this thing pinned is like right up under my nose and mouth when I'm leaning over. I hope I'm not just gassed out. I've actually been sick and been short of breath. I took one of them home COVID tests, but it said I was negative, but I swear I feel like I can't breathe. So it must be something else. I'm pretty much over it now, but I felt really sick for a while there and short of breath. But feeling good today. So let's get some building done, I thought, you know. Why not? All right, so what I'm kind of thinking here is, I think my boxes are about 11 or 10. Let's see. They are 10 and a half, or excuse me, my hatch. 10 and a half by, let me put this down so I can see what I'm doing. Use two hands. All right. So 10 and a half by 15 or 14 and 3/4. So I think we'll go 20 on the length, 15 on the height. And our box should sit something like this. So we'll just have to build it up to here. Excuse me, here, about 6 inches. It ain't a very deep box. It ain't very big, but I mean, on a small skiff like this, this will be a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and frame this out, and then I'll kind of, I guess, pre-drill the holes and screw the frame together, and then I might get to the plywood. I don't know if I'll make it that far today. All right, so I've been building me a little frame here. I've already kind of boxed it up and fitted it with screws. Now I'm going to take the screws out, which I've done on this piece here, and I'm going to put some glue down and going to glue it in place and drill it in place, and start kind of filling in the little frame members here to sturdy up the frame. So I don't think I'm gonna get to cutting out the plywood and all that today, but I will be able to get this frame glued in and kind of fit it in. So we'll have that part done anyway. So I'm just putting some microfibers down. I'm not gonna worry about putting epoxy on this part of the deck, because I'm putting epoxy and glue on these boards, and then everything around these boards I will put resin. So it'll be all right. I like to have that wood on wood bond anyway. It's really strong. And I'm using cypress here. So definitely cypress has oil in it to keep it waterproof. If it does get wet, it won't buckle and warp as much. Of course, any wood over time, if it gets wet and soaked that way and you don't get the water out of it, it'll rot. It don't matter what it is. It can be Morante, Akume, Baltic birch. If you don't get the water out of it, it'll rot. I mean, that's just, you can use whatever kind of wood you want. Let's take a little glue here and put on this back side of this little piece here, because this is actually it's coming up at an angle here, so it can't really go straight up with it. So what we're going to have to do is just glue it there, put some glue. We're going to have to put a screw in that one and hold it to the wall. Or let me try to find a clamp. A clamp would actually work better. Oh, here's one right here. I'll probably have to put a screw in that actually, because I can't sit there and hold a clamp. I need to build this frame out. So just put I actually pre-drilled a hole with that piece there, and it's still cracked on me. I'm just gonna glue it in place, hope for the best. Once I get that plywood on here, it ain't gonna matter anyway. Filling that hole right there. Ain't doing nothing anyway. You guys won't believe what I just done. It's taken me a long time to build this box because I couldn't get level on the top where the hatch is gonna go. And I kept pulling my level out and measuring side to side, and the left side, it was high, and the right side was low. And I said, I know this trailer is level, and I know my deck is level because I've already leveled all that. But what happened was the tire went flat over here. I had to air it up, so I had to recut everything and redo everything to make this level. But I think I got it where I want it now, and I mean, just stupid stuff like that, man, will get you. It was like 2 or 3 inches low, so every time I went to pull the level out and lay across it, I was like, what's going on? And then I had a piece of board down here that was like 2 inches, and I mean, it was just crap, but I got it where I want it now, so I'm glad I got that fixed. But yeah, that took me a minute to figure it out, but here's the frame for the box. I'm gonna build another one like this over here. I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to do it today, but I got these bottom supports glued down, screwed down. Got thickened epoxy there, and I'm holding this against the wall with thickened epoxy, so there's no need for screws here. I got my little supports in here, and this isn't even really the support. This is just the frame. So just like anything else, once you box it up and put your screws on there and you find your frame, it makes it 100 times stronger. So this is what we're cooking with here. I got some thickened epoxy on my hatch. That's not good. I need to wipe that off before it dries. So I'm having a difficult time getting my epoxy, thickened epoxy poured out because it's hot again. The temperature done got up. It's midday now, it's about 1 o'clock. But this is, the hatch will open to outside like this, but the hatch is gonna sit in here like this. I don't know if I'll need to drop supports in there or not. I probably will just in case, but anytime you have a hatch, you see exactly where those screws are. You're supposed to have a support around that hatch, around that frame. I'm pretty tight here to the edge, probably only have 2 inches there and about 3 inches from top to bottom. But I think I will drop a frame around it anyway because we're gonna be stepping on it, sitting on it. I don't know. I was gonna go a little bit wider with the box this way, but there's really no need to because we need to have, 20 inches in the middle here so we can fit a 3-gallon, or if you want a 6-gallon fuel tank here, we can do that too. Yeah, it's working out pretty good. So all my edges and corners, they're gonna get rounded off with a router. I got a 1/4 inch router bit. So when I do put the plywood on, I'm gonna route them off. I'm gonna resin them down, waterproof them. All this frame here has to be waterproof with resin before we can put the plywood on it. Bottom has to be resined in, of course. I might drop some glass in here. I don't know yet. Depends on how much I got left, but I'm kind of at the end of my budget. So just going and buying extra glass, and I might not even have enough epoxy to finish my fillets around the deck here. So stuff's getting expensive, but there we go. We just got that done. Actually, the deck will sit flush, and then this is gonna sit probably about a 1/2 inch above it, so it'll be sitting there like this, actually above the deck. Yeah, that's it. All this is dry. That dried in about 3 hours. I had to pull it out here in the sunshine, and that cooked off real quick, and then this stuff up here cooked off real quick. So I'm gonna fillet that in. I don't know if I'm gonna do it today, but I gotta make a nice fillet around there. Heck, I might even put this deck in before I start filleting, because I can just go ahead and fillet it and the middle deck and everything else. Instead of jumping here, jumping there, jumping here. So yeah, I'll probably just finish this box here, get these boxes done, lay that deck down, and then I'll just fill it, the whole deck section around the edges. But that's pretty much it for today. The next video that I do, it's gonna be a finished product. It's kind of aggravating to record and all this because it's really hot and the resin keeps setting up, but the next time you see this boat, it's gonna be finished. It might take me another week or two to get a video out, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, concentrate on the job. I'm having audio and visual problems with the GoPro. The battery's getting hot. I'm losing footage, so I have to leave something for a surprise in there. So we're gonna have this done. Everything's gonna be done the next time you see this boat. So it may take a little while. I can't wait to see the finished product, but you guys just hang tight. I'm gonna finish. It's hot out here, and I mean, messing with GoPro and batteries and microphones and all that stuff, it does get aggravating, but I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm at the point now where it's time to show you guys the finished product. So I'm getting so close, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'll see you guys on the next video. Tight lines, guys. Take care.